Well, boys and girls, get in here because we need to talk about Manchester City. The game against Liverpool just ended. And if I were to describe that performance in three words, it would be outplayed, outmanned, and utterly shambolic. From the get go, Liverpool had the more energy. They were running, they were pressing. And within the first 10 minutes alone, I thought Manchester City deserved to be at least 3 goals down. But they held out. It was all about desperate defending. They couldn't get out of their own half. I honestly just couldn't believe my eyes as to what I was watching. Now, for the past few weeks since the Ballon d'Or situation, I know that we've always said, oh, Rodri deserves the Ballon d'Or because, see how Manchester City are struggling without Rodri, see how Manchester City are struggling without Rodri. But after watching today's performance, I hazard a guess as to say, I don't even know if Rodri would have made a difference in this Manchester City team because they seem to me like they're lacking confidence. They seem to me like they're lacking ideas. They seem to me like they don't know what they're doing. One of the things that sets a Pep Guardiola side aside is that they're able to control the midfield, they're able to control possession, and they're able to get out into the opponent's half of the game. That was not happening in the first half at all. You can imagine that it took all the way to, I think, the 37th or 36th minute of the game before they were able to register their first shot at goal or their first attempt whatsoever. They were pinned back, they were struggling to get out, and it was just a consistent barrage and barrage and barrage of onslaught of activities on Manchester City. And honestly, as a Pep Guardiola stan, I was very shocked by what I was witnessing because I know he's been struggling 6 games on without a win, but it's still very very difficult to endure to imagine that there would ever be a time when Manchester City will struggle this bad. Now, to the Liverpool point of view, I just want to give credit to Anna Slaw and the Liverpool team because they did not put a foot wrong in that first half. They did what they needed to do, although I would have said they needed to be a bit more clinical, but I'm not a footballer, so I know it's very difficult. I can only talk about what I saw in the game, and at the end of the day, they came out with the win. But if I were to criticize them at all, it would be that they needed to be a bit more clinical. They had Manchester City pinned, the atmosphere in the stadium as well. It kind of helped elevate the moment, and the players met it head on. It was just everything was being cheered, every pass, it was very intense. Even me not being there in person, I could feel the emotion, I could feel the intensity of it all, and they played very well. They were finding each other, they were finding the spaces behind the Man City defense. Man City was scrambling to ensure that they don't concede. And of course, the goal came from Cody Gakpo in the 12th minute, I think, and it was very well deserved and a very well worked goal to boot. So that first half, it was interesting. It was very good from a Liverpool perspective, although I would have said, okay, you guys needed to be a bit more clinical. You guys needed to have gone into the half, 2 to 3 goals up just to make sure that you seal the win. From Manchester City perspective, it was good that, they only went in to the half down by 1 because it just meant that maybe a comeback could come through. And I kind of was hoping for a comeback, to be fair, because I didn't want, my, Pep Guardiola's team to go, 6 games without some kind of a result. The second half, I would say, would be a different feel to it. In that Manchester City came out more, they found more confidence. I don't know what Pep Guardiola said to them, but they found more confident and they were able to create more than they did in the first half. Now, don't get it twisted, it wasn't a whole lot, but it was more than nothing, which was what was happening in the first half. They came out more, they were finding spaces, they were finding passes, and you thought maybe Manchester City were going to, sneak and get the goal and sneak out a draw out of this one, because again Liverpool were being wasteful in the second half as well, for the fact that Manchester City became progressively better, Liverpool became progressively wasteful. And I always thought, would they come to rule all these chances that they're not taking? Well, thankfully, they did not need to, because a minute of madness from Diaz and Kyle Walker and the goalkeeper ensured that Manchester City were given a well-deserved L. Because sometimes it's just I don't really be knowing what people be thinking. You are a defender or whatever. Like, don't be doing skills. Don't do skills. If you are in a tight spot and you don't know what to do with it, hit the ball. What does he do? No. No, but what does he do? He does the exact opposite. That is Diaz, of course. I don't know what kind of skill he was trying to do there. It just goes off wrong. Kyle Walker was trying to clean it up for him, but of course that his clearance or his cleanup wasn't any better either. And Liverpool found two players heading on goal. I would say 2-on-1 with the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper had to make a challenge, and the challenge was just wrong, and it resulted in a penalty for Liverpool, which Mo Salah gratefully tucked away in, if I'm remembering correctly, the right corner. And at that point, I was like, justice, has been prevailed. Liverpool really deserved to win this game. It was what it was. It was not, Manchester City did not bring anything to the table. They weren't competitive. They didn't deserve a result. They just need to go back home, go back to the drawing board and figure it out. And at the end of the day, I'm actually happy to see Pep Guardiola laughing of the situation, because, he found humor at the end of the match with the situation. I know it's not funny for him, because I don't think he's ever been in this kind of a situation where he clearly doesn't have the answers for whatever his team is going through. But I'm still glad to see him, laughing off the situation, as opposed to the last game in the Champions League where he was visibly cut up, self-harming himself. We don't want that at all. There was one moment that I do need to touch on before the end of this quick fire review, and that is the almost near madness involving Van Dijk and Kevin De Bruyne. Van Dijk almost lost the ball, which Kevin De Bruyne was almost on goal with the keeper, but somehow they were able to save it and prevented Manchester City from scoring. So it was just a moment. It was one of the few moments in the Liverpool defense that looked iffy. Otherwise, they were perfect on defense. So that's basically the summary of the game. Now, one of the things that I think stood out to me is how, from the eye test, Manchester City did not look good at all. The statistics will tell you that Manchester City had more of the ball, but when you were watching the game, it just didn't feel like it. Like, I was actually surprised to read the statistics and see that they had over 50% of the ball. It didn't feel like that at all. It felt like to me that they were under constant pressure. And of course, we also know that Manchester City only had 2 chances on target the entire game. And the second chance was when Kevin De Bruyne, had that one-on-one chance, or that mistake from Virgil van Dijk, and he was in with the goalkeeper. Yeah, so this is some of the quick things that I wanted to quickly highlight. I don't know who I will give the man of the match, because everybody on Liverpool's team was really good, and everybody on Manchester City was really bad. So I don't know. You in the comment section, tell me what your take was on this game. What do you think is going on with Manchester City? Because this is not just a situation of that we're missing Rodri. No, I don't think Rodri would have done anything better, to be fair. I don't think that he would have been able to improve the situation. It's just unfortunate, but let's call a spade a spade. There's something that is not currently right with this team. It's something that is not translating. I don't know how they're going to get out of the slump that they're currently in, but it's what it is. On the flip side, congratulations to Liverpool. This win puts them 34 points, which I think is at the top of the Premier League, which I think is like 10 points ahead of their closest rival. They are almost running away with the title race, and we aren't even into the second half of the season yet. So we should actually look at them and see how this thing is going to pan out. At the moment, I'm actually starting to think, Liverpool are probably the best statistical team in Europe right now. I mean, Barcelona were going to make a claim for that, but Barcelona within the last 3 games in the La Liga has also begun a declining phase. Let me know if you think Liverpool are the best team in Europe at this time. Let me know what you thought about the game today. And of course, remember to like, subscribe, and share this video. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.